This is what real estate has turned into, Phil. Isn't it something? You joined real estate in
April of 22.
April of 22.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And what were you doing before that?
Graduated high school 2020, went to 1 year of college at ULL, decided that it wasn't for me, and went to work in the oil field, doing some pipeline work, working around the plants on the river. It was not for me. The people, the hours, the work, I mean, it was cool because I saw a lot of stuff, I learned a lot of stuff, but from day one, I knew it wasn't a long-term solution for me, and I didn't love that. So I quit on a Friday, and before I left the job site, emailed Jonathan to, I think it was like, hey, you do it the best. Y'all are some of the best in town, highly coveted. I want to learn from y'all. When can we talk? Like, that was the gist of the email. And so on my 4-hour drive home, he emailed me back, which I thought was odd that he emailed me at 11 o'clock. And now I know that that's just the norm. That's kind of his MO.
I was going to say, now that's just common.
And I was like, wow, this dude works. Wow. He was quick to respond.
And then you started getting the 2 a.m. emails.
Yeah, and then now I'm like, I wake up, and he texted me at
4 a.m.
Yeah, 3 in the morning. Hey, call me when you wake up. I'm like, this is normal. Okay. Quit my job on a Friday, and I was up here like Monday or Tuesday talking to Jonathan, and that was kind of it,
What drew you to real estate?
My grandmother was a broker, or is a broker, and has been for 20 plus years. And my grandparents only do investment properties, neither of them draw a paycheck, so to speak. So from a very young age, 3-4 years old, I was going to investment properties. I've been in closings before with my grandma. When I was like pretty young, we'd go and close on properties and stuff like that.
Your real estate legacy.
Yeah, more or less. And I think part of it was she always kind of told me like, hey, this is going to be you one day.
Yeah.
And so I always did want to be in real estate, but I never took that leap until I had a really awful job and a really supportive girlfriend at the time. She's an ex-girlfriend now. Because she's my wife. Yeah. And ultimately, she was extremely supportive about it, and was like, hey, if you quit your job and go do real estate, she was just the rock through that. I think it was just a combination of, all signs point to yes.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, my upbringing, the fact that Kendall was so supportive, and she backed that decision to quit my job and quit a steady paycheck for knowing that I wasn't going to get paid for 6 months.
She took that jump with you.
Yeah. I mean, she dove in headfirst with me. It was having a good support team, hating a job, and growing up around it were like the three.
Trifecta.
Yeah, I mean, I could buy a lottery ticket and not get as lucky.
Yeah, like everybody has a misconception about this industry. What was your most surprising misconception? What did you think about real estate, and then you got in it and you're like, oh no, this is not what I thought at all?
So it's actually kind of funny. I remember having a conversation with my parents and being like, this first year, if I make $80,000, I'm going to go buy a new truck. That's going to be my take care of myself reward. And I think I made like $25,000 first year. And so that was kind of like, oh, you don't come in and just make a bunch of money. You see the TV shows and you see the movies where everybody romanticizes real estate because it is a great job. Mm-hmm. Love my job, but you don't come in and in 6 months you're buying a Lamborghini and buying a new house and Rolexes and stuff like that, like people make it seem.
It's a slow climb.
Yeah.
It's just like it's building any business.
Right.
You shouldn't expect.
Well, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's kind of low and slow. Well, a brick wall is built one brick at a time.
Yeah. Okay, so when I came here like a year or so ago, we were talking, like you, me, and a couple of the other younger real estate agents, And I started real estate at 25. And back then, that was young. People were always like, what are you doing here, kid? Like, get out of here. Like, what? So we started talking about being young in the industry. And at the time, we were saying that it was like kind of a disadvantage and a listing appointment objection. And people were always asking y'all, like, y'all would go on appointments and y'all would kill it. But then the last question they'd ask is, how old are you? Like, how did you change that? Because you've definitely changed that narrative from I'm young, yes, and that's why you should hire me. So like, how did you change that narrative for your own brand?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was becoming a professional. You know, if you're young and you don't know a ton of information, you're not able to answer all the questions, you're not able to have these plans and kind of know what you're talking about. You've got to be an expert. If you're young and you don't have those answers and you don't seem like you're well prepared and it's not your first time being here, it is a disadvantage because you're young and you're, you know, young and dumb. I mean, simply put. When I made the transition into, okay, I'm going to not study is the wrong word, but I'm going to listen. You know, I'm going to sit at this table behind us when Jared and Chase and Jonathan and, you know, all the people who have been in this industry for, you know, since I was 10 years old. Some of these guys have been selling real estate since I was, you know, 5, 6, 17 years old. And so when I made the swap from, you know, I'm going to sit in the corner and I'm going to, you know, just plug away at what I'm doing right now. And I made that transition into when somebody was talking about a situation, I listened. And I said, oh, you know, okay, that's how y'all do that. That's how y'all do this. This is a good idea on this. So now when I go to listing appointments, if they say something or if they have a question or if they have a worry, I have a plan. I seem far more prepared, and I am far more prepared. It's not a seem thing. But being young and being an expert on something is super impressive. Yeah. Being young and not being an expert on something, you know, that's what they expect.
Yeah. We talked about the young part. Like, I thought it was super weird because I was like, well, why are we dogging on young people in the industry? The internet is such a big part of our industry now, and nobody speaks internet better than your generation. So how did you use that to also be like, hey, yeah, I'm young, but I'm smart, from, hey, I'm young and smart, and that's how I'm going to get the job done? I
mean, it came with examples. You know, you had to show examples. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to do a walkthrough video. It's like, okay, but I'm going to do a walkthrough video like this, you know, and show them something that you've done. You go over stuff that, you know, stats is a huge thing. You know, 90% of buyers find their home online. People aren't driving around finding
We
houses.
don't even want to go drive and get our food anymore. No. We're sitting at home on the couch with New Girl on the TV and we're scrolling through the home search site.
Right. Hopefully that's andrewmedine.soldbyunited.com. But yeah.
We'll put it down at the bottom in the caption.
Link it. You know, it's having that information because most people don't know that. You know, a lot of people in our industry don't realize that. And so if you have that information, you say, hey, look, I'm going to post your home to XYZ website. I'm going to do a YouTube video. I'm going to post it on Facebook. I'm going to do this. I'm going to geo-target ads. When you start throwing information at people like that, not only does it pique curiosity and it starts that conversation, but it shows them that, hey, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, this is a good thing. And I had a listing not that long ago that they interviewed a couple agents and they picked me because I think I could go back and look at the text, but he said, you know, we see your age and tech savviness as an advantage. And so they picked me, and that was a luxury listing. It does have its advantages. It does have its disadvantages, but I think it's changing that narrative more than anything else.
I think it has more advantages than disadvantages, honestly. Like, I wish I had appreciated it more when I was younger and in this industry. You have more energy. You do know you're up to trend on the internet things and the market. I mean, you fix settings on my phone, and I'm pretty tech savvy. But
so people who are maybe not as tech savvy, and I'm by no means like
no, we're all students.
Yeah,
here.
I'm not
a
computer whiz at all.
Yeah.
Then the people who aren't tech savvy, what are they learning? You know, are they changing at all?
Right.
And I think that's a huge advantage, is to be able to be fluid, roll with the punches, change what you're doing, be willing to experiment.
Always a mindset. It's just the younger generation seems to have a better mindset when it comes to changing, and this market is changing. Quite frankly, this market is always changing. I mean, I remember when the internet wasn't that big of a deal and you didn't get on Facebook and talk about real
Right.
estate and stuff like that. So it's always changing. So whether you're young or old, if you don't have the mindset and you think that what's already been done should work, then you're probably going to get pushed out of the industry.
Right.
You got to change with it. It's a strong
Yeah.
force.